Boom, 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 boom. All right. We are live.
Perfect.
All right, Andy, can you see me?
Yeah, perfect, buddy.
How you feeling?
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview today.
You're my man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, yes, yes. We've got a lot of guests who signed up. We're a little bit late because of technical difficulties,
That's all right.
but I'm sure that they are going to be able to catch us. I'm just going to share this real quick. And how many cars did you sell today?
Today was the first day of our month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, today was the first day for us, but I don't know, maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5? Did
Yeah.
you take a long weekend?
Yeah, we had a long weekend. I was pretty much kind of cleaning up last month today. So, just some paperwork and stuff to put away, but it was good. Last month we had a pretty good month.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to start with the fact that I'm a huge fan. Obviously, I'm very, very, very fortunate to call you a personal friend of mine.
Oh, man.
And it's always a pleasure talking to you. It's always a pleasure sharing your story and helping other salespeople to get inspired by you, because you definitely have an amazing story. Part of my mission is to inspire people to join the car business. I truly see this as one of the best opportunities to find freedom, financial freedom, and to be able to build your dream world, if you may. So I'm very excited for having you, and thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate you, buddy.
I want to start with the first question. How did you get to where you are today?
That's a good one, right? Man, I mean, didn't come easy. A lot of people probably look at me and say, wow, he's lucky to be selling so many cars, but it didn't happen overnight. It hasn't always been rainbows. And, it's been a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of failure, facing a lot of objections. Being able to overcome those objections. Man, I just got here with, a lot of dreams that I've had and thought that, hey, I could fulfill these dreams. And I didn't set out to sell 100 cars or a month or to beat Joe Girard's record or any of that good stuff. I mean, I was just showing up to work every day and I was giving it 100%. And I knew, in my mind that there was always more. I always felt that, I had so much time. Hey, what do I do with this time? How do I maximize my day? And I always figured, we're going to be here for 12 hours or 14 hours or whatever amount of hours you're going to be there, make it worth it. If I'm going to sacrifice being away from my family, I'm going to sacrifice, certain things, then I got to make it worth it to be there.
So I guess success comes with sacrifice. That's an inevitable word for success.
Oh, that's key, man. Listen, we all sacrifice. We sacrifice so much. Salespeople around the country, man, we sacrifice a lot of things, and we do it for the greater good. I mean, we sacrifice all the baby stuff. We sacrifice, maybe the first words and maybe the walk for the first time, and it's a trade-off. I mean, that's just, what do we do? I mean, what's the alternative? We got to work hard, and that's what I figure. If I'm going to sacrifice those things, then I'm going to miss those things, then I'm going to make it worth it.
That's right.
I'm going to, maximize what I have to provide for your family, and not just financially, for yourself, just to make yourself feel good and be proud of what you do and your accomplishments. Those are all key.
love what you do, right? I would say if I have to define the word love with one word, would be sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And that's what it is. Yeah. When you love something or someone, I mean, you are sacrificing a lot of things for them.
so we've had a lot of conversations in person, and we both match the same belief system, and we
We
both
do.
are relational salespeople. So one of the things that most uh, transactional salespeople know, and that's the reason why they don't want to become relational salespeople, is because it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of giving without getting anything in return, and it takes a lot of work without nothing, no expectations. So early on in my career, when I decided to invest in relationships, I had doubts at some point, and I was wondering, would I ever be able to pick up the fruits of so much effort, because I go the extra mile for these people, and because I'm so personally involved, and because I'm the first guy to walk in, and always the one closing the store. So speaking of sacrifice, was there a time you messed up and you felt like you failed, and how did you bounce back? Did you feel at some point that you're not going in the right direction by investing in people so much?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a specific time, but we wake up every day to go face rejection. I mean, we all do. We know we're getting ready in the morning, and we know that we're going to go face some kind of rejection because that's just part of our job. It's how you overcome that rejection is going to be key. So how you're able to move on, is key. So even this whole thing that I'm going through, this is probably the biggest rejection I can ever have in the car business, is this whole Guinness thing, and Gerard and beating the record, and this whole image that I had in my mind of how it was gonna go and how it really went. And that's a gut check. I mean, that's a shot in the gut. And
Let's talk
so
about that. Let's talk about that. How? I mean, this is something you've been striving for day and night. You've been skipping meals and your family, and sacrifice so much. And at this point, they want to take this away from you. How does that make you feel?
yeah, I mean, it's not a good feeling. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, you had this image in your mind of what's supposed to happen and how it's supposed to go, and then all of a sudden you got the complete opposite. So now I have to accept it, do what I can do, and at the same time I still got to show up to work. I still have to show up for my clients, because my clients care about me, and they care about what's going on in my life. But that's not why I'm there. I'm there to make sure I help them, and to serve them. And they're not going to care about my personal problems to the point where it's going to affect my business with them. I mean, I got to keep moving forward, and nobody wants to come in and hear my story about why I can't sell you a car today because my mind is not right, and I'm not thinking straight, and I'm not on my A game. I mean, I'm going through this whole thing this whole month, and I have interviews going on, and I have the newspaper calling me, and I have lawyers calling me, and I have dealerships still expecting certain things out of me. So I mean, I delivered 140 cars in August, and
Awesome.
yeah, I'm not saying it because I delivered 140. I'm saying it because I didn't lose focus, and I'm not going to let that consume me. I'm not going to let that
Was there
dictate
was
what's
there
going on.
was there some people that were able to give you motivation and to give you some?
Man, I'm going to tell you something, Velko, man. This auto community, this auto family that we have right now, I mean, I will stand behind them forever. I mean, these people, I mean, just came out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, man, I will be the first one in line for anything that any of them ever need, because they have stuck by my side. They have came out and fought the fight with me. And, and it's not just because of me. And I think any of us would have did it for any one of us. I mean, they did it because we're standing up for what's right. They did it because we're sick of being bullied as an industry. We're sick of being, nobody cares. And, oh, they're just car salespeople. Who cares? They're used to it.
Not everyone is Kurt Russell from used cars, right?
No, man. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. And I think everybody's tired of it. So
Yes.
I'm actually happy that things happened the way they did, because this gives us a reason to voice our opinions. It gives us something to stand by and, kind of just saying no more. We're not that person anymore. And the business has evolved. Salespeople have evolved. We're good family people. We work hard. We show up to work every day and we try to help people. And we're sick. I'm sick and tired of that whole stigma of the old car salesman mentality. And, I've done some interviews with national, and that's what they expect. Believe it or not, I get on these shows and they expect a guy to jump on the table and, tell them I'll eat a spider if I get a sale or something, some goofy thing. And that's how goofy they are. That's what they think. Yeah. And I'm standing my ground, not just for myself. I'm standing my ground for everybody that stands out, for everybody in our auto family that's out there. And the love and support that I've received this past, month or couple months and past year for that matter has been unbelievable. I've been so emotional about it. I've been so blessed to be part of it. And, and I think it is united we stand, and we are a, auto family. And
part of it, it's also because you're a very, very humble guy and very, very loving human being. And nobody had ever seen anything negative on your character. So that's why people would go all the way for you. And I can tell you that we're not going to stop this fight. And,
thanks, man.
we're going to make the point, because the auto family is strong.
Yeah, man, I think so. And the Guinness thing, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. It's cool. It was nice. It's it's something old school. It's doesn't define us. It doesn't, change my life. It doesn't really do anything. It was just cool. It was cool because I expected it. And, I kind of told my kids about it, and I thought it was, going to happen. I didn't see a reason why it wouldn't happen. And, for it not to happen was kind of disappointing, but, I'm over it. It's cool. I think at the end of the day, something better came out of it. I think the exposure that we're getting nationally as an industry has been very positive. So I think that the greater good is happening. It's just unfortunate that it happened to happen this way, but.
Are you saying that there is no hope for them to bring it back, that particular category, or?
I don't know. At this point, nobody's in it. Even if you Google, even if you look up his name in Guinness, he doesn't come up. Yeah. So they have him buried in there somewhere, and now it's ruined for everybody. It's kind of like, hey, I don't like this game. I'm taking my ball and going home. And it was the only ball that was there. Yeah. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. I mean, our industry. They should have looked at it and said, we can't monitor this a long time ago. And that was my argument with Guinness. I says, hey, if you knew this, why did you string me on for 7 months? First thing. And why are you not looking at these records year over year? Why did you wait 44 years? And then when somebody breaks it, then you come out and say that. Their response was they have too many records to kind of look at them. And they do look at them on a period, on a basis. And it was overlooked. But they should have found that out 30 years ago. They shouldn't let it go 44 years. And when somebody breaks it, they come and say, hey, sorry, but, we can't really monitor this record. I mean, that's just kind of goofy, but whatever. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, the whole point is Guinness is a brand, and it could really help some individuals as far as marketing. And Joe Girard definitely took huge advantage of the fact that he was the Guinness World Record holder. And as a matter of fact, many times he was referred to the greatest salesman in the world, period, not just car salesman, because of the Guinness record. So he sold a bunch of books. He booked a bunch of gigs to speak and to train. So the part that Guinness don't get is that you wrote a book with Damien and you're giving it away for free. You're not trying to make profit out of your
Yep. I had no reason. Yeah. I mean, that was for salespeople. That was something just kind of giving back. And
you're passing on your passion. And Joe Girard in his letter mentioned that he's not very happy because you're hurting his sales right now.
Yeah. I'd like to see what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like to see what that means. And
So, but
we made it.
we never know what's good and what's bad. We are
That's
proud
right.
of you. We love
That's
you,
right.
and we're very, very happy that that someone was able to beat Joe Girard's record. You know,
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. At some point of my career, I this was one of my targets, and I wanted to beat his record. If I didn't stop selling cars, I would have
Yeah.
gone for it. But
I'm not. Let me tell you something. I'm not the last person that's going to do it. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are coming up that are really going to beat his record and my record, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to figure out ways of doing better and faster and more efficient. And I mean, that just it's good for the industry. It's good for everybody. It doesn't mean there should only be one title holder. It doesn't diminish what I've done. Doesn't diminish what he's done. It only enhances. It only saying that the business is evolving and people are figuring out ways of doing it better. You know, um, it is a tough record to beat. I mean, it stood 44 years for a reason. It's not an easy record, but I didn't do it in 1 year. I mean, if you look back in 2016, I did 1,320 cars. In 2015, I did 1,200. 2014, 1,100. So it wasn't like I just entered the business and I said I beat the record. I mean, this is 17 years in the making. It's not just 1 year. It wasn't just I showed up 1 year and all of a sudden it happened. Just because social media brought it out recently doesn't mean that it happened. I mean, I was, grinding for 17 years.
yeah, and speaking of this, because I'm sure the owners of the dealership are always asking you what's next.
Yeah.
And I always bother you with the same question. What are you going to do next month? What are you going to do next month?
I
And
know.
it seems like I hope the Guinness thing doesn't kill your mojo a little bit. But
No, man. No, it doesn't. Like I said, in August, I had a great month. And, July, we had a great month. It's been very good. I mean, this year has been good so far. But no, that's not.
if you keep beating your own record, they're going to be forced to unlock the category.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, we'll just keep applying for it if we feel like it's something that we want to do. And I feel like it's important for the industry.
Yeah, he's in his videos on YouTube with the guys that do like weird tricks and they have like 50, 60 Guinness records. Like they throw a basketball from the Grand Canyon and they score and like
Yeah, I mean, this is one they call unconventional. So where you can't just witness somebody doing it. But there's auditors in place that audit things. So if the government audits my taxes and says I paid taxes on all of them, why is it not real?
exactly.
And at GM, we get a 1099 for every VIN number. We pay taxes on every single VIN number. I mean, you're 1099.
It's easier to audit it now
Oh,
than ever before. I mean, back in the day, they
100%.
put everything on paper. So if there's this should be faster and easier to audit.
It is. It is. I mean, the dealership, you got dealer principals that are not going to allow anything to happen. You got management, you got other salespeople. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's, obviously checks and balances. I mean, you got GM representatives coming in now. We have ceremonies every year, awarding.
GM pays per unit. Why would they pay you more per unit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, oh, well. Oh, well.
So, I mean, if anything, it's easier to prove it now. But what I'm thinking is probably Joe's record is not so sufficient, and maybe that's what they don't want to get into that.
It's possible. Anything is possible. But I'm going to keep focusing on like you said, man. The ownership. They want to know what's next and what we're doing, and I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing, and try to take a little more time off. I'm not really setting a number on anything. I never have really. So it's more I'm just going to keep grinding every day, show up to work, keep helping as many people as I can, and I'm having a lot of fun. This has been really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with my clients, and the amount of love and support that we've had, it's made me a better person in general. So I'm happy things happened the way they did.
Definitely, brother. You don't know what's good and what's bad. This whole thing is definitely going to have positive outcome for
No, let me tell you something. In 2010, I was working at Bill Wing Chevrolet dealership that was a wind down dealer. So we're there, we're scrambling, the letters are coming out, the dealerships, certain dealerships are going to close down and nobody knows what dealers. And all of a sudden we get a letter and we're one of the dealers that's going to close. GM's going to close them and it's over. And, you know, in 2010, I'm forced to make a change. That whole thing doesn't happen. The whole cosmos doesn't churn in a certain way. I don't end up at Les Stanford, you know, because I would have probably stayed there. I'm very loyal to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And, you know, who knows where business would have went? Who knows? You know, so something that I thought was bad for me turned out to be very good for me. And sometimes something you think is good for you turns out to be bad for you. You don't know. If you don't approach it positively, if you don't approach it with your heart and a goal in mind, then you're not going to succeed in anything. So I went in 100%. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to turn this into a good thing. And, you know, I mean, we've been blessed enough to say we have.
So top producers at dealerships usually end up 3 or 4 different ways. They would sometimes quit because of management or because of not a good click. Sometimes they would get fired because of jealousy or because of other issues. Sometimes they would get promoted to management, and sometimes they would stick and become a monster, kind of like yourself, and build a business within the business. Would you say that you have to have a perfect click with everyone at the dealership in order to be given that chance to grow, or it's possible?
No, you know, yeah, I mean, okay, dealership culture is very important. And, you know, it's important to surround yourself by good people. And, you know, if you feel like somebody is, you know, lack of better words, a cancer, then I would stay away from that person. Then they're not bringing anything positive to your life. Then just stay away. You don't have to bring anything negative to theirs. I just stay away. The management thing is very tough because some places have great managers, some places don't have great managers, and we know in this business a lot of managers come and go. I don't let that dictate what I'm doing. So, you know, I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to do what I do. For a salesperson to grow and for them to have their business to where they want it to be, then yes, the dealership principals, the owners are very important. They play a very important role. They have to be on board, but you have to set up a game plan. You have to tell them what your goals are and where you're going and what your plans are. Don't just assume that they know what you want and what you don't want. So, you know, I have a very good relationship with my owners, and, you know, we're constantly talking and we're constantly brainstorming together. And, you know, they ask me for ideas, I ask them for ideas, and you know, we come up with a game plan that works for everybody. We're a team, you know, I mean, I don't look at it like it's me versus them or I'm trying to get the upper hand. I mean, neither party is playing that role. So we definitely, it is very important for you to be on the same page with ownership.
Yeah.
And some owners are absentee owners. I get it, you know, so you got to figure out the GM of the dealership or whoever it is that can make the call to help you, you know. And
so you've been with these guys for 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Have you been with the same team for 8 years, same management team?
Yeah, you know what's funny is the Scott Montgomery, who was there for 30 years, just parted ways a couple months ago. And that was kind of tough because, you know, I've had such a good relationship with him, and he played a big part of, you know, my success and allowing me to grow and giving me the tools that I needed and believed in me. So that was kind of hard, you know, letting go of that. And, you know, he didn't go to another dealership, but he went to, you know, the vendor side of things. And, you know, so it's tough. I had to adjust. That's an objection, you know.
Dark side.
Yeah, he went to the dark side. And he's very bright, very talented man. And you know, he's done a lot for me, and I definitely appreciate it. And, you know, we're gonna come across people in our lives that are gonna impact you in certain ways, and you know, and you're gonna impact them in certain ways. So, you know, it's a positive thing. I'm very fortunate to have had him in my life, and of course I'll continue to have him in my life as a friend. But, you know, dealerships are tough, man. We go through management, we go through different salespeople, and you come in and one guy's fired and another guy, and it's tough, But I keep to myself. I run my own business in there, and it's a lot of. I miss a lot of stuff. I miss a lot of the fun stuff, I miss a lot of the food fights and all the other stuff that happened around the water cooler. And I find out days later, I'm like, hey, when did this happen? So
you don't have time to horseplay anymore.
No. And that's really the key, just keep to yourself. And, of course, I love them all and I love hanging out with them, but there's a certain time and place for that. I'm not going there to hang out all day.
So you say business plan matters. In my case, when my daughter was born 2011, I wanted to spend more time with my family. So I offered my dealer to work only 4 days a week. And I promised to deliver minimum 30 cars a month. And if I don't, they can put me back on the other schedule.
Fair.
Did you have to do anything similar and guarantee them 100 units or something like that?
No, what's funny is when I first had the interview,
I know your schedule. That's why I wanted your schedule. They said, forget about Saturday. You can have 2 days.
Yeah. So my schedule is Monday through Friday. I don't work Saturday or Sunday. I don't work weekends. But it wasn't like that. I wasn't being pushy or bully when I first got there. After I left, after the store closed at Bill Wink, I was probably averaging 25, 30. And when I first got there, I kind of laid out before I started. And, when you're in an interview, first thing, when you're in an interview and you're interviewing a dealership and dealership is interviewing you should be interviewing them at the same time.
Yes.
Because this is a home. This is somewhere where you're going to call your home. And this is something that you're going to be there for a while. So
what are some good questions to ask?
I would hang out there for a little bit. I hung out there a couple of times, just watching the flow of things, watching how salespeople acted. Seeing things is better than hearing something from somebody.
Maybe secret shop them, huh?
Yeah, and I for a top producer, if you are moving to another place and you're doing 25, 30 cars a month, you got to ask for as much responsibilities on your own as you can. So what I mean by that is when I first got there, I wanted access to F&I. I wanted access to run my own credit apps. I wanted access to, call in my own deals because I was already doing that. I wanted full access to everything. And believe me, they were reluctant and they were like, we don't do that. No other salespeople have that. And I said, listen, for me to be successful, I have to continue what I was doing. And I told them, if you don't like it, in 6 months, then we can make some changes. But I need access to this, and this for me to be successful. And I gave them that timeline. I did give them an out. I says, if you don't like it in this amount of time, and you don't feel like I'm holding up my end of the bargain, then we can sit down and make some changes. And, then they gave in. So, they wanted me there. And those are kind of my demands. And I say that lightly. I mean, those are the things that I requested. And, they gave in. So they said, okay, we're going to give you access to this stuff. And of course they monitored it. And, I went from, 25 to 30, from 30 to 40, from 40 to 50, and, 50 to 60. And then it just kept growing. And, and at that point, obviously they kind of seen where my business was going.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are selling 25, 30 right now. And I've sold 40. And when you told me you sold 30 in a day, I remember I was shocked. And I was like, Ali, I've sold cars.
I was passed out that day, yeah.
I can't even do the paperwork on 30 cars in one day, okay? So.
And I didn't have to. That was a good thing. The process.
What you told me then is, dude, you gotta take some steps out. So. Yeah. Let's talk about that because if you're let's say there's a lot of guys that are selling 30 cars a month now. How do they get to 50? How do they get to that golden number 50? And then from 50, how do they scale? How do they get to 75? So
it's okay. First thing is one level at a time. So it's not from 30 to 50 or 50 to 75. It's literally one level at a time. So you should be looking at an attainable goal. So if you are doing 25, then you should be shooting for 32, 33. And then from 33, you should be shooting for 40. and something that you can set a goal and attain it. Not, you know, a guy doing 30 cannot see 100. I couldn't see it. I would never have thought, okay, you know, I'm doing 40, I'm going to get to 100. But when I got to 80, I said, wow, I'm getting there. I can get there. So and then when I got to, you know, 90, I said, I can get there. So every level that you get to, your process changes. You have to change some kind of process. Just like any business that's growing, you have to have a business plan, like we talked about, and things have to change. So the people that are doing 25, 30, you got to write down your complete process. Take your process and say, this is what I'm doing per delivery. And if you don't know what it is, then write down everything you're doing every 15 minutes of the day and figure out where you have holes in your day. And I would write down my process and I would say, okay, well, this is not that important. So for me, you know, cutting out test drives saves me a lot of time. So I cut out the test drive. If somebody wanted a test drive, I can let them go alone while I'm helping somebody else. That was a step that wasn't important to me. Now, people that are doing 10, 12, 15, it's very important to do the test drive. So don't cut that out. And when I hit a certain level, I needed an assistant. Like you said, you can't do paperwork on 30 deals, right? So that was a process change. I said, okay, for me to grow, I needed an assistant. And for some people, having an assistant at 20 is important. And some people having an assistant at 50 is important. If you're doing 50 cars and you don't have an assistant, there's something wrong. I mean, there's something literally, you have to get an assistant. It's costing you time, it's costing you money and sanity, because you can't physically be helping that many people on your own and doing a good job and keeping up with the people that are coming in.
You're not giving people good service.
Yeah, I mean, you could give them, you could be giving them decent service, but it's the new people that are coming in that you're not being able to help, right? So you're missing a lot of opportunity. And, you know, there was holes and there's gaps and there's certain things that you have to fill in. But, you know, the guys that are doing 30, the reason why 30 has been a big number in our industry for a long time, 30 is like that number that everybody in the business just tries to reach for, right? Because the other stuff is not believable in your mind. You can't see 60 or 70 because there isn't enough time in a 24-hour period or a 12-hour period that you're working to physically deliver 50 cars or 60 cars or 100 cars. 30 is the max. So the industry says that you have 2 hours, you have to do this. There's an hour for prep. There's a half hour for finance. There's another hour for paperwork. There's all these time slots that you're putting into your day.
Yes.
Only allow you to do 30 cars because you have a 12-hour day. You can only fit in 3. That's why a hat trick is such a big deal, because 3 in one day is really the max. You got 3 hours for each person.
The finance guy wants to marinate the guys in the waiting room for 3 hours.
Right. You got all this stuff going on. Again, that's something that you're not handling. That's something that now somebody else is handling your deal.
Yeah.
The more you can handle, the more responsibility you have yourself, the faster and more efficient you're going to become. So if I have to take a credit app and go to finance and give it to them and wait for 20 other people that gave them, you know, and now I'm waiting an hour just to get an answer, I can have an answer in 2 minutes. Yes. Literally, I put in the information, I hit submit, I have an answer within 5 minutes. I have the answer. My assistants are ready to process in the paperwork. Somebody is already on the phone with the insurance company, and everything is moving and we're going. And, you know, 15 or 20 minutes, they're driving a new car. I mean, that's how fast and efficient you can make your process. But you have to be able to have those responsibilities at your fingertips. If you don't, and you're relying on other people, then it is going to slow you down. And that's why 30 is a big number. That's all the industry allows you to do. Transactional business, right? That's transactional. 2, 3, 4 hours. We talk about relationship in that.
You're a transactional salesperson. You can't, I mean, it's really hard to sell more than 30 in today's world.
You can't do it. I mean, I never say never, but it's very difficult. You're not going to.
Not enough opportunities.
No, you're not going to do it day in and day out. You're not going to have enough time. You got to be working 7 days if you are, and you're going to get burned out after a couple of years. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. So we need those top producers to start focusing on relationship type business only. And yes, it's going to be scary. The first time Damien told me, stop taking ups and only rely on people, only help people that come and see you. It's scary because our whole life we're trained to go get another one. Go get another one. Go get another. Now you're telling me stop taking them. Don't take any more people, and just work on what you have.
The first month I did that. I decided to be exclusive. I only sold 25 cars, but I made the most money of my career.
And happier.
And no headaches.
Yeah.
And I made more money than selling 44 cars. So it's definitely the way to go. But another thing that it's really important about limitations, what you said, what happened to me was I was a 25 car guy for 2 years, and I was the number one guy at the dealership. So there's a lot of salespeople that are the number one salesman in the dealership. I was 5 cars away from 30, and I didn't see 30 at this point because nobody was there to push me. So what would you suggest? And until one guy came in and he sold 33 in the first month, and I was like, whoa. I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah.
So then I started selling more cars because I was competing with him. But what would you suggest for a salesperson who understands that they're not even covering 50% of their potential, and they are the top salesperson in the dealership, and they are selling 25 cars or 30 cars, but they don't see the 50 or the 60. They just don't see it.
You can't pretend that this is not happening. You can't pretend in your mind that somebody's not selling 50, 60, 70, 80. With social media today, I mean, you open up anything and you're seeing these guys, these high producers that are doing it. So if you're going to continue to believe that you can't do something and somebody else is doing it, then you're never going to achieve it. Those numbers happen in your heart first. They happened here well before they ever happen on paper. So, and I'm going to say that again, and I mean it. When I started believing that I can do this, when I first met Damien and he's telling me about some guy doing 60, and I'm like, this guy's doing 60 and I'm doing 30. There's such a big gap. He's doubling what I'm doing, and I can't see 60. I can't see that. So, but when I started believing that it was possible, when I started being aware of my surroundings and aware of what else is going on out there, I couldn't unsee it anymore. You can't unsee it. So once you see it and you see somebody doing it, just like you said, the guy did it. He came in and did 33. You can't unsee that in your mind.
I remember
it's there.
The first time, before I even know you exist, the first time when I went to a seminar and I met Fran Taylor, and he said I sold 50, and I didn't know 50 was possible. So then one guy at the seminar, Craig Lockhart, was there. He said, well, my record was 53. I'm like, wow, you even beat his record. So then I went back and I was like, that's my new goal. My GM was asking me, what are you going to sell next month? I said 50. He said 50.
Yeah, they think you're crazy.
So you're absolutely right about that. So you're talking about risk, right? Because when you commit to relational selling, you're not going to get the fruits right away. You might get 3-4 disappointing months before you start getting some referrals, but you got to stick to it. Yeah. So let's talk about risk. Do you risk a lot? Did you risk a lot in the past? How did you learn to embrace risk taking?
Yeah, I mean, you are risking. It's not. I don't know if it's a risk. I don't know if we call it risk, but it is. You got to be able to see past that. You got to be able to pass. You got to see what your business plan is and where it's going to take you. There's a lot of tempting times that somebody's going to walk in the door and say, hey, I need help buying this car right here. And, you might want to take them because you have nobody sitting in front of you, but that customer can literally ruin your day, your week. Ruin your mindset, take up, 2-3 weeks of your time. Those are the type of things that you're eliminating. So you're actually eliminating risk. If you think about it, right? I mean, we're eliminating the risk of the business. So if you start thinking about it in that mindset, then you're just going to grow. Your business is going to grow because and we're not saying don't take ups and just sit at your desk. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about don't take ups and serve the client base that you have. Figure out ways to reach out to them. Figure out ways to grow your business with them. And that means coming up with creative ideas of getting your name, getting your name out there with your community, with the people that you've already sold. And you're going to have more time and more patience and keep your sanity. just by helping the relationship type business. I mean, you're going to feel so much better. But it doesn't happen sitting in your office. We know that, right?
No, it doesn't. But if you have 1,000 clients right now, you could easily stop taking ups because maybe 30 of them got into a total accident today. Maybe 20 of them have positive equity and they're ready to move. So you can fill up your pipeline with your existing clientele if you worked at a dealership for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah, they're there. I mean, you have more time because you're not taking ups. You have more time to figure out what the best ways of reaching out to these people. You'll have time to do things that you weren't doing before because you were spending 3-4 hours on an up and maybe got nowhere and had a 20% chance of selling them. When you get to that relationship type selling, man, I mean, it's the numbers are mind blowing because it goes from 20% to closing ratio to 80 or 85, 90% closing ratio. I mean,
everything you touch.
Yeah, you're closing everything you touch. I mean, really,
you want to, you don't close.
It's funny because people are always like, you got to ask for the close, you got to ask for the sale, you got to ask for this, I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm giving facts, I'm helping them, I'm laying it out, saying, here's your options, this is what you should do. What do you think? And we're working it together, and then they just simply say, okay, I'll go with that option.
One of the things I say on my videos always is be a sales professional, don't be an order taker. But with all due respect, at this point, you're taking orders and you're just doing it on a very high level.
Right.
And one thing that you shared with me that was very important, the level of trust that your customers have towards you allows you to make 80-90% of the decisions on your table, which shortens your process even more. Because you always think in the best interest of your clients. And they know that, they can feel that, they've already felt it in their past experience, and they just allow you to do everything because they know they're going to slow you down if they open their mouth.
Man, I mean, they're coming, and they know I'm busy. They're like, okay, I don't want to take too much of your time. This is where we're at, and they kind of even rush through it sometimes, and I have to slow them down. I'm like, don't worry, we're fine. Just let's be patient and figure out this, together. And you're right.
Closing problem. You don't have a closing problem.
No. I mean,
Closing problem.
People come in and they say, I want to buy a car from you. I'm buying a car from you. I don't care what it is. And but it is more of a friendly atmosphere. It is, you hit it on the head. The 85-90% of the decisions are probably made by me or together, but I get, what do you think all the time? They're like, well, what do you think we should do? Or what do you think, so there's a reason for that. I mean, we created that. It's not something that people are just going to come in and do, but you got to create that customer base that trusts you that much.
All right. So for those of you that are watching right now, I want to recognize some of you. Patrick, Melissa, thank you so much for your comments. If you could please share this video, because Ali is probably losing 20 grand right now to share his knowledge with us. He was very busy. He was very busy today, and he really did an exception for this interview. So I'm very grateful that he's talking to us right now. So please click the share button. Let's show some love for Ali, and let's create some awareness all over the internet, so we can inspire as many salespeople to dare to reach the heights that this gentleman has reached.
We're all in this together, man.
We're all in this together, baby. That's it. Which sales or leadership skills were the most difficult to develop for you?
Probably word tracks. I hated it. I hated word tracks. I was never, one to go back and say something that, a manager or somebody told me to say, because it never came off correctly. And I sounded like, somebody else. And, that's probably, one of the things that I never liked. So I always tell people, man, just sound like yourself, even on the phone or on the internet or, on text messages, just be yourself. That's all people want. I mean, people want to deal with, a real person and, somebody that sounds like their friend, somebody that cares. If you're going to go back and say something, your manager says, go say this, and you go back there and you say it, it is not going to come across correctly. You're going to look like a deer stuck in the headlights saying something, and people are going to feed off of that. I mean, I see it when I want to go buy something. If I get that, I say, oh man, this guy's not looking out for my best interest, and I'll
My
walk away.
favorite thing is when I try to buy something, and right now I teach sales. So when somebody tries to give me pressure, like today I was talking to a guy from Hierology or something like that. He was like, if you do it today, we'll do it
Ah,
for $3,800, but you gotta do it right now. And and I'm like, dude, please don't.
I know I can't. I would be embarrassed to say that. People now tell me, well, how much time do I have? I go, as much time as you need. Whatever. When you come back, we'll figure it out. And they're so used to people saying you got to do it today, or you got to do it by next week, or you got to do it by tomorrow. That the pressure of that sale is what the last five guys sounded like. Five girls. I mean, that's what the last people sounded like. And you need to sound different. Not different. You need to sound like yourself, first thing, and then that makes you different from the last five people that they've seen. And that's all they're looking for. I'm at the point even in my life where I only like dealing with certain people when I go buy something.
That's right.
Because I now trust them. I now tell them, hey, I'm coming in and this is what I'm looking for. I give them a heads up, and then I go in there and I'm asking them what do they think, because they're the professional, and I'm giving them all that trust. And rightfully so, they earned it. And, I find myself only dealing with certain people now because of that.
Well, there have to be salespeople. Great salespeople recognize great salespeople. Like I went to Best Buy today to buy a projector, and I literally bought a projector, $700 projector, in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The first 2 minutes were terrible. The salesman didn't know where the projectors are. Then his manager got involved. He asked me 5 questions and pointed out the projector to me.
Perfect.
And boom, I was out.
Right, and that's what you want.
He recognized me. He recognized my buying power. He recognized everything. He was like, this guy just asked me what I'm looking for. Boom, 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 boom. And I made the decision and I bought the projector. So it's a pleasure working with salespeople like that. And that's what I told him, That's why I'll pay any price, because you save me so much time.
Oh, I overpay for everything. It's not the last thing I'll ever pay for. So I'm going to overpay for certain things, but I'm paying for a service, and I'm paying for something that, I'm not going to beat up somebody if I think it's fair and I'm happy with it, and I want something, then I'm the type of person that would want it right then and there. If I'm there and they say, well, we can order it, you can have it in 2 weeks, I'm trying to find something that's there.
When you're in relational selling, and I know you can relate to me on that, because I've heard some crazy reasons from people why they buy from me, and it was never the money, it was never the price. Some people have brought me lasagna and food and cakes, and they want to hang out with me on Saturdays, and they come for service. I'm busy, but so many people have asked me to put whatever price I want because they trust me and they want me to get good commission. I'm sure you've been through.
Yeah, man, it happens every day.
And I was so fortunate to get an honest feedback from my clients, and they would be relaxed and at ease enough to just share with me how they feel in a normal circumstances and what makes me different. So that's kind of the reason what inspired me to teach, because what the majority of the salespeople, their perception about the client is totally different than what the client actually wants. And salespeople make it about the price, not clients. Salespeople make it about the price. Clients they don't know what they want. They respect you. They respect your opinion. They want to ask for suggestion. They know that you've been through through so many situations in your life, and they looking for advice. So we are consultants, we're advisors, we're a lot more involved in their decision-making process than some salespeople think. Some salespeople think it's all about the price. It's not all about the price. Nobody would buy something that they don't need or they don't want. So from that standpoint, can you tell me about a time when you had maybe a very, very, very good experience with a client? What's the most surprising moment?
There's so many, but I get I get so many people now that just come visit me. They just come in and just say, hey, I was passing by the dealership. I have a old timer right now, old retired guy comes in once in a while, and I feel bad. His wife passed away about 8-9 months ago, and they used to come in, and now he comes in and he just shares some.
He just views you as a friend.
man, some emotional moments with me, you know, and he feels like he comes in and makes him feel better, and he tears up in my office, and it's so overwhelming. It's
We're
so
part of these people's lives. We're
it's
part of these people's lives.
right. It's so
There's
unbelievable
tons
to
of
have that feeling that this guy's coming in and he's pouring out his heart to you, and you know, and all I did was treated him like a friend. I didn't do anything else, and yeah, I sold him a bunch of cars, and yeah, you know, we became friends, and but it wasn't a sale. I took the sale right out of it, and obviously he's never thought of it as being a sale. He comes in, you know, and now, you know, he shares those moments, and I'm very thankful and blessed that he does that, because, you know, that makes me feel really good. Those are the type of things you come home and you can share with your family. You know, you're not going to come home and share with your family, hey, I had a 10 pounder today and this guy drove off and that guy will be with that truck forever. You know, he's never going to get out of it. You know, that's something you want to tell your daughter, or do you want to come home and tell the story about how this guy came in and he leaned on your shoulder, and, you know, he left in a better mood than when he came in. You know,
the stories with the 10 pounders are happening less and less often. So
yeah, I mean, look, everybody has the same car. Everybody has the same service department. Everybody has the same MSRP. You know, what is making you different? What are you giving these people that's separating you from the pack? What are you doing that's making it different? Is it because you give them $500 off cheaper than the other guy? No, it's not about being $500, $1,000 cheaper. I mean, we're selling 30, 50, $100,000 vehicles. It's a service that you're providing. It's you. It's what you're giving them. You know, my customers come in and they get me. They get me, my mind, my heart. That's what they get. And, you know, they feel that. And there's a lot of people like that. You know, I mean, you know, I've helped so many people, and they're so thankful, and people down on their luck. You know, most people will look at him and say, well, you know, this guy doesn't pay his bills. You know, he should be paying 100% interest, and he should be, you know, paying $1,000 car payment because he doesn't pay his bills. I mean, those are, you know, those are times where people need you, right? Those are times where I'm looking for somebody and saying, how can I make your life better today? And how can I help you 3 years from now and 5 years from now when you come back and see me? Not, this is a one night stand and I'm charging you 25% interest, and this is all you can get, and this is what the bank says you can get, and, you know, take it or leave it, and don't care if you make your payments, you know.
So let's make it clear for all the salespeople that are watching right now. If you are just starting in the car business, and if you love the part where the managers are talking about whacking people and destroying people, this is going to be the fast life, right?
Yeah, it is. It is going to be the fast life.
100 cars a month. It's not going to get to 100 cars a month. So
no, I mean, look, we're all in the business for profit. I mean, obviously the business, you know, the dealerships need to make money to keep running, and everybody's in for profit. But there's a fair share and a fine line of taking care of people.
Well, don't get me wrong, I love profit.
Right. I'm not talking about not making profit, or not talking about the money portion of it. I'm talking about the service that you're providing. Yeah, I might not give somebody the trade that the dealership down the street gave them. I might give them $1,000 less, but they still will do business with me because of other factors. You know, so they tell me that. Well, the other dealer gave me, you know, 1,000 more, and I got referred to you, but, you know, I really want to do business with you. So, you know, somehow, some way you can meet them a little bit and do something. But I've sold a lot of people, and I wasn't the cheapest, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just.
Well, you were offering something else besides the car. You were offering the efficient experience. You were
myself. Yeah, I'm offering myself, and not just then and there. I mean, I'm offering it forever. I'm offering it for as long as I can possibly help them, and as long as I'm going to be in the industry. And I'm offering them friendship. That's what I'm offering them.
That's right. What's the most important lesson you've learned, and how has it been proven that it's invaluable?
Two real big things: patience and being aware. So patience in this business is going to be key, because you have to have patience with people. You got to have patience with management. You got to have patience with yourself. And once you master patience and being able to be patient with the customer, then you'll be able to master every part of the business. Once you're patient with yourself and allow yourself to grow and mold into a great person, then then that you're going to separate yourself from the pack. How do you do that? Is by being aware. So you got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of your position in life. You got to be aware of your customer's position, which means that you got to be aware of, their financial needs. Who's driving the car? How far they got to drive to work? Certain miles. How long should you put them in a turn for? I mean, all these things. You got to be aware of what's going on. So. And I'm now aware of body language. I'm aware of a person, the way they're sitting, the way they're talking to me. I'm aware of their emotions. I'm aware of my emotions in what I'm saying and how I feel when I'm saying something. If I say something and I'm not feeling good about it, then I completely stop, because now I'm aware of what I'm doing. So, people say they're just going through the motions. Why are you just going through the motions? Why are you being that way? So, those are two very important things that once I started becoming patient, and that's kind of my favorite word in life is being patient. It's going to help you become a better person all around. And what I've learned through, the business itself is being aware. I mean, those two things are huge.
I think salespeople and customers especially, they can feel our energy when they're with us. So if we try to motivate them to take a particular course of action, they feel that we're pushing them. So the only thing they want is to be able to make decision based on their terms.
Right.
And if we offer them alternatives, if we offer them that calm environment,
Yeah. Transparency.
so they know you're patient. They know that you don't need to sell them a car. They know that you're not experiencing anything. You're not desperate.
Right.
You're not trying to pay attention for any weaknesses, and they feel comfortable buying from you. That's the whole thing. It's all about energy. I mean, it's the same thing you approach selling anything else in life. If you're not patient in your marriage, how would that marriage work, right? Anything else in so it's great that that you brought up patience. I know that's your favorite word.
It is. It really is.
It's the hardest thing to learn, though, right?
It is hard to learn because
Does it come with age?
It comes with maturity, yeah, and age, yeah. It comes with that because I mean, the older you get, I guess the more mature we get, and
the younger you are, the less patience you have. You want to get rich fast, and
you're trying to get somewhere pretty quick. You're trying to go 0 to 60, and we all know something that doesn't always work, but definitely being patient is key in this business.
So right now, a lot of people are inspired watching you. How can some salespeople who want to get to your level go and ask their boss not to be micromanaged and to work a deal A to Z, to work a deal cradle to the grave?
Yeah, I mean, that's not easy. Again, that's something that
They have to have a business plan.
you got to have a business plan. You got to tell them, what you're trying to do. Explain it to them in baby steps if you have to. And I would definitely set up that trial period. Say, listen, just give me 30 days, or not 30 days, not long enough. Give me 90 days or 6 months. And, let me try it this way. And if you don't like what I'm doing, then I'm not increasing business and it's not working for everybody, then we'll go back to the other way. So you got to present it to them, in a way where, you're asking for their permission in order to grow your business and their business. So, you can't go in there, throwing a tantrum and saying, I want this, or I'm leaving, or I want this. Everybody's replaceable. To get that out of your mind. Everybody's replaceable.
I know that.
These dealerships have been around for hundreds of years, and they're probably going to be around for hundreds of years after. So, find your place, again, be patient when you're asking for it. It might not work the first time, and, you got to keep going in at it and saying, hey, this is how I'm going to grow my business. But again, you got to bring something to the table. You can't do it just because you want to, go home at 4:00 and you want to finish.
Basically, you have to go there and offer something, not ask for something, right? You got to offer something. You got to offer something and be responsible for what you're offering, which is going to result in more. So because you got to offer more things that you're responsible for.
Yeah, and also that means educating yourself. That means you have to understand that portion of the business.
How it works, yeah.
Yeah, how it works. You can't just assume that you know it. I mean, you got to fully understand it, and you got to let them know that you understand it.
Can't just let you do it and you start power booking trades and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, let's try it for 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, oh, I thought we needed this. Yeah, you'll be responsible. It'll be a nice chargeback.
How can salespeople, I know you don't negotiate a lot, but we got to give them some type of sales advice. How can salespeople become more assertive negotiators?
I like being transparent. I don't think that you should have to hide stuff. I don't think you should. I mean, everything is at our fingertips these days.
Put everything on the table.
Everything is right there. Put everything on the table. In negotiating, it's easier if you're not hiding anything to negotiate on something. It's easier if everything is laid out. If you are hiding something and then you start negotiations, it's never going to come across naturally. If you have everything laid out, pay attention, and again, be aware. Try it both ways and be aware of the way you're reacting on one sense versus the way you react on the other one. Do something transparent and then hide something and approach it both ways and see what, the results that you get. So, transparency is key, just laying it out. I mean, every dealer they went to, they told them so much, they filled them with so much information. And now you have to either filter that whole thing out and get them to believe you for some reason. And the only way you can do that is by telling the truth. Plus, if they come back in 2 weeks, how could you remember what you told them if it wasn't the truth?
It wasn't the truth.
How could you remember? I get people that come in and they come in for 10 minutes and they ask me a couple questions. I'll give them the information and they leave. And then 2 weeks later, they come back. And guess what? They're not going to forget what you told them. They're one person. I might forget what I said. But if I go back and I look back at it and I say, okay, well, here, let me start this over again. I'm going to come up to the exact same results because I have the same formula, because I have the same, everything was the truth. And, sometimes they'll test you. They'll be like, oh, I thought it was this. Like, no, it wasn't that. Believe me. I know what it was. And, whatever it is, so.
One of the things that makes me feel that we're in the greatest industry ever is that leverage isn't always on our side. I mean,
no,
the cars that we have are better than what the people are driving right now. Sometimes they have more leverage, sometimes we have more leverage, but we got to be aware of the leverage. And sometimes leverage is on our side and we have no reason to lie. We can just say, this is the situation. I didn't mean to say lie, but no reason to hide things.
That's what it is. Yeah.
In gray area. We can just be direct with people, explain to them and educate them on how everything works and be transparent. And then they would like us more and they would come back to us. So do you have any quick tips for re-energizing an overworked team? Because I know you have a very dedicated assistant, Mirna, right?
Yeah. Good memory. Yes.
And she is amazing at what she does.
Oh, gosh.
What do you do after 30 deals a day? First of all, how does it feel to sell 30 cars in a single day? How does it feel to...
That is a crazy day, man. That is a crazy day. I mean, I literally had deals typed and ready to go.
What does the celebration of that day look like? That's what we're trying to find. Is it a hug? Is it a crying? Is it a dinner? What is it? How do you? I
didn't even think we found out till a couple of days later. I think it was. I didn't even know what it was that day. It was the end of the month, and we didn't
have a chance to talk to her.
Yeah, it was the end of the month. We were just going crazy, and I started out pretty early that day. I think 6:45. I started out pretty early that day because I knew I had a busy day coming, and it was the last day of the month. And I did. Everything was kind of preloaded, and everything was ready to go. And I had, finance had preloaded type deals, and they were just ready. So people were literally coming in, signing, and going. And it was a pretty hectic, crazy day. But even when we do 12 or 10 or 5, all those days are pretty busy because we have so many other things going on. But again, process. She is wonderful. She can finish the deal from A to Z. I can pretty much kind of do what I do and pass it on to her, and I might not have to touch it again. That's why, the process works so good, because she's very efficient. And, I have another assistant, Sam, who he's part-time right now, but because he's going to school. I wish I could use him full-time, but he's going to school, and I encourage that for sure. And he does a lot of the running in the parking lot, parking a car, pulling up a car, just things that take a little more time consuming. And I don't leave us tired either. If I have to run across the street 10 times a day to grab something, then obviously that's going to wear on me physically. But I keep it up. We have meetings ourselves. I have meetings with them. And
what do you do to re-energize them?
Yeah, I energize them, man. I give them bonuses once in a while. I might come in for no reason, and we had a good week or something, and buy them a steak dinner or do something, and just do something like that, or take them out, and I let them know every day that I appreciate them. It feels good. Like just like any owner, he comes down and tells you, hey, Velko, man, you did a wonderful job this month. You feel good, right? You feel good about that. So same thing when
recognition is a big deal, right?
Yeah, man. I let them know every day that I appreciate them. I let them know that they're doing a great job. And, Mirna will tell you that she absolutely loves her job, and she looks forward to coming in every day. I mean, who says that,
Yeah.
So, just to kind of tell you the atmosphere. And, they get to meet a lot of nice, good people every day. It's fun. It's a fun, exciting environment. And I always tell everybody, this is a stress-free zone. So if you're going to stress any of us out, you need to leave, and jokingly, and it kind of, opens up the mood with people. And, but I don't let any stress in there.
Well, brother, I'm so happy that we had this conversation. And in closing, I want to just prove that you're a real human being, because some of the people think you're alien, you don't exist. So I just want to ask you, what's a bad habit that you've been trying to kick for the past 17, 18 years?
Oh my gosh.
To improve on?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what that would be. Oh man, a bad habit. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I might be rushing somebody off the phone. So I try to be patient with them on the phone, because I have so many things going on. So maybe, answering, kind of quick, and I catch myself doing that. Just because I've been so busy. My biggest problem now is getting to the phone. So again, I need a process change, and I'm kind of working on that now, because we have a lot of other things going on now. We have people calling us for billing. We have people calling us for service questions. We have people calling us because their car won't start. And, anything. I mean, we've kind of trained people to call us for everything. And so now we have to filter out those calls throughout the day. So, for me, being able to get to the phone is the hardest thing right now. So I'm going through a process change to figure that out. But, for the most part, I mean, I don't get any lunches anymore, so that's not good. Me
too. I gave up on breakfast long time.
I had to give up. Yeah, I had to give up lunch, so that's pretty tough. But actually, I got used to it. Now, if I eat lunch, I feel sleepy and tired. So
yeah.
But I'll have something good in the morning. It's very important to keep your health up. I'm not a health nut, and I've never been on a diet my whole life, which is good. But being healthy is key. I mean, we do have to be healthy going into work every day. So I don't smoke or anything. So I don't I don't have a bad habit there. I don't think
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like drinking or smoking.
No. I don't mean it like that. I mean, I don't really
that you wish you could do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's really getting to the phone. I think right now is something that I'm working on. That's something that I need to figure out a way. I figured out a way to block time.
Yeah.
Because I can't get to my text message. I'll look down and I have 47 text messages. And how can I physically get to those if I have a line of 5 people? So now I figured out a way to block time where I have an invisible salesperson, which would be my phone, and I go to the lunchroom, I go to a conference room. Even though I have customers in the showroom, I pretend that that's a customer in front of me. So now I go to my phone and I say, okay, this is my customer for the next 15 minutes, and I'll respond to all these text messages. And it's as if I have a customer there while the other people are waiting for me to come back. I have to block time.
You have to play mind tricks. You have to play mind tricks because time is so precious to you.
Yeah.
15 minutes is literally one sale.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because constantly, there's somebody in front of me almost the whole day. I mean, almost the whole day, there's constantly somebody sitting there. There's a customer there. So if I don't block those 15-minute, every hour, every 2 hours, then I'll never be able to respond to messages and text messages. And, so I'll run to the back, take 15 minutes, respond to those, and I'll come back. And, sometimes, I mean, I've looked down and I've had 60, 70 text messages, where I have to respond to them, and they're not all, sometimes, and you got to be careful how you respond to them. Somebody sends me, a story about something, and I can't just say, one or two words back.
Short with it, yeah.
Because now I'm making them feel rushed. Again, that's something I'm working on. So I have to make sure that I'm not rushing them. And if you read it, you're going to feel rushed if you're reading the text the wrong way. So I have to be careful how I respond to that. And sometimes we're so quick to pick up the phone and just respond without saying hello to the person first thing. So being aware of all. Yeah.
Like get to the point, and sometimes I would send a text to somebody 6 a.m, and then they would send me a text, "Good morning."
Right. Then you feel like crap. Then you're like, oh man, what is
I'm going straight to call to action. I need you to do this.
I know. Listen, we all do it. But that's, again, I just got to be aware. So I got to slow time down. I got to slow it down a little bit.
People are not at your speed of action, and it's kind of hard to slow down, because you slow down, they need to catch up.
But they're customers. They're one. Listen, they are one customer. They don't care that you have 50 people behind them that they're waiting. They're one customer. They're looking for your attention, and they need your undivided attention.
It's only for 30 seconds. It has to be sincere. It has to be real, and it has to be active attention.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions, right? When somebody gets in my office and they're sitting in front of me, there's a lot of distractions going on. I mean, there's people moving cars. There's a horn going over here. My phone is going off. My cell phone is ringing. Mirna's over there with somebody. And there's a lot of things. But I am focused on this person in front of me. I don't know who's walking by. I don't even look at. I'm focused on this person because I want them to know they have all my attention. Yeah. They waited 15 minutes to get into my office, and they're going to get my full attention. And that's key. People are going to feel that.
Well, thank you, brother. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for giving us this wealth of knowledge, and specifically for the top producers group and all the people who are expecting you. Just in closing, give them a last word of advice, and hopefully we'll see you again in some of the future episodes of the Top Producers Only.
Yeah, just believe in what's possible. When I started believing in what's possible, my life changed. And, think outside the box. Don't think the way the industry says you have to think. If you feel like something is right, then it is. If you feel like something is wrong, then it is also. So, again, just believe in yourself and believe in what's possible. It can happen.
People like you make difference. People like you change the game. People like you are the mavericks of our industry. Thank you, Ali, Reda, and we are with you. The Car family is with you. We are going to
likewise,
brother.
Likewise, buddy. Thank you so much, man. I value your friendship and everything you do for everybody, man, in the industry as a whole. So thank you for all you do also, man. Big props to you.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.